Season 7 of Sun Coaches Podcast is proudly brought to you by Titan Sensor. Season 7. That was my number in high school, so maybe this will be lucky for us. We'll see. You know, I've learned over time that when somebody's talking about something you really don't want to talk about, you just can always throw in there, hey, I knew this guy once, and then just pretty much make up whatever you want to, and they won't listen to it. They'll get off track. And you don't have to talk about the uncomfortable thing anymore. Coach, like we do every week, tell everybody where you grew up and where you're from. Sun Coaches Podcast, where not everybody has a funny story, but everybody has a story. Hope you enjoy Season 7 of Sun Coaches Podcast. Sun Coaches is proud to partner with Titan Sensor for Season 6 and 7. Titan is made in the USA. Proudly founded and based in Texas. When you connect with Titan, you are not alone. You can collaborate and share templates with other coaches across the country to build reports and foster competition. Used by programs such as State 6A Georgia State champion Grayson High School, Titan can tailor a package to fit your needs. The eye in the sky never lies. Improve your team's performance with Titan. Welcome to Sun Coaches Podcast, Season 7. I'm excited today to be joined by one of the best in the business, one of the most well-respected guys within the coaching ranks. He's the head coach at Habersham Central, Coach Benji Harrison. Thanks for being on with me.
Shoot, I'm glad to be here. I appreciate you having me.
Well, Coach, like I ask everybody, where'd you grow up and go to school?
I grew up in the big city of Toccoa, Georgia. Actually, I was not a Toccoa boy. I was a county boy in the bigger city of East Denali. But I went to Stevens County High School and stayed there. But I've never coached there. When I left and went to Presbyterian, I've never had never went back and coached there. But that's where I'm from. Played for Coach Rodney Walker every year except my senior year. Then I played for Jay Russell.
Two good ones, two legends.
Yeah, no doubt. Good guys. Still keep in touch with both of them, and they both, played a huge part in why I'm doing this today.
Well, what else did you play in high school other than football?
I played football, basketball, and baseball, and man, I loved them all. I think that's probably the biggest travesty now, I think, in the game is kids feeling like they need to specialize, because I have so many great memories from all three of those sports, and just some really good times. And I wouldn't change anything looking back. I'm glad I played all of them. Different experiences with each sport, different relationships with each sport, and I'll hit on one of those. I got a good story for you about one of those if we get to it today.
Outstanding. We on our way up to Raven County, we actually did our walkthrough at Stevens County, and it's just an awesome place. I know it doesn't look the same as it did when you were there, but they have turf now, and they may have a couple of more buildings than back then. But it was cool seeing the little hallway with all the guys, the great players that had played at Stevens County, and it was just very neat to see y'all's pictures up there. And our head coach was like, "Hey, look at this! This guy played here, and this guy played here." And I was like, "Oh yeah, they're pretty good up here now." I'm not gonna lie.
There's a lot of ties through there too. Just people that were there that are now went into coaching. That's what's pretty cool about it. A lot of guys that played there, a lot of them under Coach Walker are now coaching themselves. So it's pretty cool. You joke about the stadium. I remember when I played, the biggest thing that I didn't realize at the time is now they've got the turf field, but back in the day they had that crown on that field. I don't know if you've ever played there, but that crown, you'd be standing on one side looking across to the other sideline, and you saw it about waist level. It had a major crown on it. So you had to know which way to run, especially me because I was slow. So you had to make sure you was going downhill when we ran off.
So you got the opportunity to go play at Presbyterian in college.
I did. I joke with everybody and say after much deliberation, that's where I chose, but it was actually the only place that gave me an opportunity. But it was awesome. I had a cousin that played there who was a year older than me, and me and him were really close. And he played over at Seneca in South Carolina, and he played there. And I wanted to keep playing, so I got to go over there. And I played for Daryl Dickey my last few years, and Tommy Spangler, who everybody in the state of Georgia knows. He's probably the one that he did. Tommy Spangler helped me get my first job. He was joking about asking what I wanted to do because I played quarterback. Well, let me say that. My position on the roster was quarterback. I was more of a holder and a scout team quarterback for Tommy Spangler. So Coach Spangler liked me now, and we're still close. And he got me my first job at Elbert County High School. It was the greatest interview ever. I went in. He said, Coach Mike Falleur was the coach, and he said, "Hey, I talked to Coach Spangler. He said you'll do a good job. You want it?" I said, "Yes." He said, "You want to know how much it pays?" I said, "You can tell me, but I'm coming anyway." So it has a way of working itself out. I know I was supposed to go to Presbyterian and meet some great people, and it got me in this profession.
Yeah, networking is so key in playing for people like Coach Dickey and Coach Spangler. I mean, Coach Spangler's, I need to get him on. He's a legend too. I'd love to listen. I bet he has stories for days. But anyway, so you start out at Elbert County with Coach Falleur, another guy that's just, anybody that's our age or older knows the great job he did all over the state at different stops he had.
Yeah, he was awesome. He took a guy right out of college and let me coach the quarterbacks, and he I'll tell you, he let me learn early on what it looked like to get a good chew-in on the field. He held everybody a certain way things were supposed to go. When you didn't do it, he would get you. And I mean, it carries with you. It sets the standard at a young age. And I always tell our kids, being able to take a butt chewing is a really valuable lesson that you can use the rest of your life because you're going to get them. So yeah, it was, I had a lot of fun. I was there 2 years and we had a lot of fun while I was there.
Did you coach anything else while you were there?
I coached basketball, for a couple of years, while I was there. It was pretty, but I enjoyed that too. I had 2 different basketball coaches while I was there. And I was fresh out of college. His name, I think it was Russ Wheelis. He was the basketball coach, and I'm young. I'm 23 years old. He was in the process of moving, so he says, "Hey, you got them today." And I said, "Got what?" And he said, "We got practice." And I said, "Okay." Well, I about half understood anything we were doing. I'd played this game, but I didn't understand everything about how to coach this game, especially right out of college. So I did. It helped me. Another thing helped me. Hey, you're in charge today. Figure it out. So we did, but I had a good experience with basketball as well there.
So where did you go after Elbert?
I went to Franklin County. I was there. I was 25 years old, I believe, and Danny Durham. I don't know if you remember Danny. Danny passed away a few years ago. Danny played at Georgia Southern. One of the best men I've ever been around in my life in this profession. Probably, there's no doubt, in the coaching world, he influenced me more than anybody. He was as good a man as I've ever been around. And he probably showed me, he's who I wanted to model myself after, because how he cared for those kids, how he loved on them, how he wasn't scared to share his faith with those guys. And he took a shot on me calling plays for him when I was 25 years old, which I found. I was cleaning out the other day and I found some playbooks. Oh Lord, I'll tell you what, it was pretty funny, but it was a great time with Coach Durham. Probably, like I said, he influenced me probably more than anybody in this profession.
And how long were you there?
I was there 6 years. 6 years. Had both of my daughters while I was there. So both of my daughters were born. We lived in the big city of Red Hill. It's not going to be familiar with a lot of people, but at the time it was the softball capital of the world for weekend warriors.
Oh, well, there you go. So you were one of those guys.
Well, no, I wasn't. I just lived not far from the field. We did put a team in it right after college, but we didn't know because if you ever played in this adult league softball, these are some professionals and it's a rough crowd sometimes. And we were some hot shots out of high school or out of college, said we're going to play in the tournament. We didn't know we'd got ourselves into. We were scared to death. I mean, it's lucky we made it out of there alive that day.
There ain't no doubt. Beer league softball is when you're not a beer league guy, it's
that's right. That's right, no doubt about it.
It'll wake you up in a hurry, especially you get in that losing bracket and you got to play till 3 o'clock in the morning to get to the finals.
That's right, no doubt about it.
There's a lot of consumption going on during that
absolutely.
So after Franklin County, what was your next progression in the steps?
After Franklin County, we Coach Durham he left and went up to Raven, and I just didn't really know what I wanted to do. I'd played for Coach Durham at Stevens. He was there with Jay Russell my senior year. That's where I got to know Coach Durham, and somebody else that was on that staff for a little bit there while I was at Stevens was Lee Shaw, and he had started the program over at Flowery Branch. So I left Franklin. I went to Flowery Branch and stayed there 4 years and learned so much there. Just, I mean, absolutely. While we were there, that place was rocking and rolling. My first year there, we got to play for the state championship. And it was just, you really learned and saw what it looked like and to be on a team, man, that was rocking and rolling. The student body was all into it. The school was all into it. So we had some really good times those 4 years that I was there at Flowery Branch, and, just learned a lot from Coach Shaw. It was a good time. Met a lot of really good people that I'm still friends with on staff there. That, man, it was game planning was easy with that staff. I mean, we had some guys that had a lot of, we're all on the same page and got the opportunity to coach some really good players while I was there. Coach Connor Shaw, this played at South Carolina, and just some good times, some really good times there for 4 years.
Yeah, I remember we played Flowery Branch at Cartersville. Used to have a big 7-on-7 thing in the summer, and I was at Lithia
Yeah,
Springs with Isaac Farrell. And
right.
then it was our first year, and those wing nuts I was coaching on defense, they did exactly what you asked them to do. And y'all came out and play action off the veer one time, and one of my dudes just cacked. I don't know if it was Connor or J-Bo. I can't remember which
Mhm.
one. And I
Yeah.
thought Coach Shaw was going to kill me. You know, he didn't say anything to the kid, obviously, but he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, and the kid's just looking at me, you know, like, "Well, I have quarterback, coach," and I'm like, "Son, we don't hit the court. It's 7-on-7. Don't hit the quarterback." I mean,
That's
he
right.
lit him up like a Christmas tree. That might have been the only time we took quarterback that year, but yeah,
I
I
remember
remember that.
Cartersville.
And I didn't realize that you were on that staff, but you're
Yeah.
right. I mean, you've so far there's just your journey has been, you know, working with great people. That seems to be a common thread. So what was after Flowery Branch?
Um, Coach Shaw left. It's funny, both coaches coach with left and he left and went to Raven County. So didn't really know what I was going to do then. I thought about staying. Thought I had an opportunity to get the Flowery Branch job. They gave it to Coach Chris Griffin, who also from Toccoa, who's really good friends with it. So I was just going to stay there with him, and then the opportunity came along to get my first job. So I went to Jackson County and took my first head coaching job there, and there we go. And it was a great experience. You know, you always say you're never prepared till you get one, and I'll never forget when I took that job. And it had not been, you know, it just been a long time since Jackson at that time had really had a whole lot of success. And obviously now look at it, you know, what 15 years later, 13 years later, and what Coach Mobbs has done with them. It's been pretty cool to see what they've done. But I laugh. I'll never forget when I took that job. You know, you're in the process of trying to get guys to go with you, and some guys that are there figuring out who's going to stay and who's not going to stay. And so I go in, you know, right after Christmas or probably February. And like I said, this is new to me now. I thought I was ready. I'd been around a lot of good head coaches that let me see that side from how do you do a budget to managing players, and I'd seen all that. So I thought, you know, I'm ready. You know, and then when you get there, you are drinking water out of a fire hose. It's coming at you from everywhere. And I remember sitting there one day in the office, and you got to do everything. Like the guys that are going with me are not able to be there yet. The guys are there leaving, or they've kind of checked out. They're not involved. They're going somewhere else. And you're doing everything. You're doing the weight room. You're doing scheduling. You're doing ordering stuff, which that's a whole different story. Thankfully, Nelly helped me with that a little bit as well. But I'm sitting there one day after school, and I said, "What have I done? This is just not any fun." I mean, I like coaching. This is all the other stuff, but you learn, you deal with it, and then you start figuring stuff out, and you learn a lot of stuff by trial and error. But man, it was some pretty cool times, and we were able to do pretty good there. I mean, we went to the first state playoffs ever there. Man, it was pretty cool, and just seeing that community get excited, rejuvenated with football, and it was a great experience.
How long were you at Jackson County?
I was there 3 years. And then the opportunity to come back closer to where I'm from. Like I said, I'm from Stevens, and the job at Habersham opened up. I knew a lot of people up here just because, you know, Habersham Stevens was right beside each other. And the athletic director at the time, still is today, is Jeep Cunningham. And Jeep Cunningham was my ninth grade football coach at Stevens County and my basketball coach at Stevens County. And that's where the funny story is if we get to it, when I was at Stevens County playing basketball for him. But, you know, just wanted to get back up this way. My parents were getting a little bit older, so I thought it was a good opportunity to get up here, just be closer to them. And, man, this has been one of the greatest seasons of our life up here. This is where my girls have grown up. This is what they call home. It's a great community, small town, but it's been just an awesome 11 years here so far.
Yeah, that's awesome. That part of the state is my retirement plan. I would come to anywhere up there in that area, and just good people, good coaches, good. Seems like, I mean, I know everybody has issues, but you know, from everybody I talk to and everybody I hear from, and I like mountains and hills and looking for Bigfoot. So, you know, there's that. So
I don't know about Bigfoot, but you can hit a deer real quick in a car. I
no
do know
doubt.
that. I think everybody in our family has at least got one now, and none of us really hunt. I used to. I don't do it anymore. My wife said I had to choose a hobby, and I really like playing golf, so I kind of chose that one when I'm not doing football.
There you go. That's me. I'm not good at it, but I like trying to be.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
share the funny story with us, Coach.
Well, we joke, your perception changes a whole lot from a player to a coach. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see things so differently from the player perspective and the coaching perspective. We've joked, and me and Coach Cunningham I owe so much to him. He's stuck with me through this whole journey here. When we've had good years, he's been my biggest supporter. When we've had years that wasn't as good, he's been my biggest supporter. He's been unwavering and all that. And we're just really close. But we laugh now because I play basketball for him, and I like to cut up and tell a lot of stories, and sometimes they're not true. But we were talking about basketball, and I'm quick when he's talking to people to tell whoever we're talking about how good I was at basketball. When I played for Coach Cunningham, and Coach Cunningham starts laughing every time I do that. But there was a story, and we were laughing about it. I think we actually played golf yesterday after church, and we were laughing about this story. So it's my senior year, and I'll never forget. It was kind of ironic. We were playing at Habersham, and I noticed the last few games, my minutes had started going down. You know what I mean? Like, I'd started, but then he'd take me out pretty quick, and he would put in this other kid named Michael Russell, who was a freshman. And at the time, I didn't understand that. I didn't understand that at all because, I'm better than him, right? Because I'm a senior. I'm good at this sport. And, needless to say, this guy later went and played college basketball. I did not. But we laugh. And I was talking to him the other day about, he said, he was joking, and he said, well, be honest with me, all these years later, he said, do you think I probably should have cut your minutes more? And I said, yeah. I said, Coach, now I would have definitely went with the other kid. He was a lot better than me. I even made a decision. This is a really part of that night. He had taken me out of the game, and I was mad. I'm a senior, and I'm mad as a hornet because I'm getting done wrong here. You know what I'm saying? I should be playing instead of him, even though he's scoring a lot of points, and I did not. And we're in the locker room afterwards, and he's talking. I'm mad. I'm taking off my shoes and I'm throwing them in a bag. And he's trying to give the talk after the game. And I'm being totally disrespectful, but like a teenage boy will do at times. I know you've dealt with those some over the years as well. So he yells at me and tells me to stop doing what I was doing, and I didn't like it. So I grab my stuff and I go outside. My dad's standing there. He said, what are you doing? I said, I don't know, Dad. I think I quit. He said, what do you mean you quit? I said, well, I think I did. He got mad at me because I was mad because I didn't play. I think I quit. I was just go. Let's go. Oh, son, I was Dad, let's go. I can't go back in there. So we going down the road. We hadn't left the parking lot of Habersham Central. I said, Dad, I don't really want to quit. I really messed up in there. And he said, well, I guess we'll go see Coach in the morning, Saturday morning, and see what he says. I did. Okay. So we go back in there, and I told him I was sorry and I was wrong, and he let me come back. I didn't play. We had a game that Saturday night. Needless to say that I guarded the bench very well that night. But it's just funny how we were talking about how your perspective changes as a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How I was mad as a hornet, and now as a coach, Coach I'd have probably took me out too. He was a lot better than me. So we had some good times. But me and Coach Gunn have been really close, and like I said, he's given me a great opportunity here for me and my family, and we've just enjoyed it immensely. And yeah, so that's where we're at now.
And you learned from that experience because you learned grace, and you learned. Well, you
learn this. Yes, there's no doubt. Coaches, you always want to yell, hey, you, it's about the team. It's about the team. But you also remember as a player, you never want a kid that's happy or content not playing. I mean, I want everybody on my team to want to play. And if they're not playing as much as they want to play, I want them to be concerned about that. And let's have open communication, and let's see if we can't help them, because there's nobody that wants those kids to play. I think that's the hardest part of coaching. There's kids that work their tails off every day that are just not quite as good, but there's a place for those, and you want to get those kids out there and give them opportunities they can. But it does allow you, I think, when you played it, you understand how they feel. Even though all these years later, I'm getting older, but I still remember those things from high school like it was yesterday. So it allows you to kind of put yourself in those kids' spot and not get mad or how dare they question me, that kind of thing. It opens up good dialogue. And I think kids believe in that when you tell them the truth and are upfront and straightforward with them. And because I still believe that's what it's all about. I mean, I love the game of football. I think it is awesome, and the preparation and the practice and the planning. But at the end of the day, for me, man, it's about those kids and the relationships that you get to build that you'll have from years. I've got my offensive line coach, Tip Johnson, whose dad is Brian Johnson, who was the offensive line for Rodney for years at Stevens. He's out there now. He's fully retired. He comes out there and helps us. And the respect I have for him, it's hard. His name's Brian Johnson, but he's still, to me, it's Coach Johnson. These years later, I cannot call him Brian. But just those relationships you get with player and coach, man, there's nothing like them.
Speaking of which, who are some of the best players you either coached or have seen over the years since you are getting old and you've seen some stuff?
Yeah, I am getting old. I appreciate you bringing that up. No, I've had some really good ones. I would say Connor Shaw was really, really special. That year, my first year there, we fell right into it. Me and Ben Hall, who's at Elbert County, were on that staff together. We always joked that we went that same year and went to the state championship, and we act like we had something to do about it. We didn't. We were loaded that year. We had Ajon Cross, who went to Georgia Tech, who played with the Buffalo Bills, Daniel Drummond, who's a running back, defensive end, who played for Georgia Tech, two really good players. I would say probably the best player I think that I've ever coached was a kid that I coached here, Joshua Pickett. And not only was he one of the best players I've ever coached and how he could impact the game, he is, and I know every coach says that about a lot of kids, he's one of the greatest young men I've ever seen. He started for me as a freshman, played safety. His sophomore year, he played some corner and receiver. His junior year, he played corner and receiver, and he could fly. So his senior year, we moved him to quarterback. And that's when I became a guru on running power read because of him. And when I say guru, joking, because he was just got what he could do. It was funny. Me and Coach Johnson would always joke. He said, Benji, I think he's misreading that play. And I was like, who cares if he's misreading power read? He is unbelievable. Let him go. We used to play Buford. And that's when I think I probably saw how good that he was, is when he took power read and outrun every guy from Buford when we was in that region. I think he was probably as good a player as I've ever been around. He went and played at Duke, played up there for 4 years. And I actually had lunch with him last week, and he got picked up by the Broncos. They released him. So he's in the process of just trying to get back and training and all that. I think he's a tremendous player as well. But we've had a few. I mean, Trey Luttrell played quarterback for me here. You talking about a football player. His dad was Stan Luttrell, or his dad is Stan, who coached with me a year as well. But just some really good players of the year. But he stands out as one of the most dynamic players I ever had.
Yeah, one of the things you touched on right there was when you said you fell into it. And that's always been my goal personally, is to fall into one to where y'all are sitting up there in the mezzanine at the Dome going, Lamb can't even screw this up. Good Lord. All they got to do is get off the bus. One of those teams. I think that should be everybody's goal, is just get out of the way and let them hunt, let them do what they do. And
it's always good when you can call a really bad play and it turned into a good one.
Oh yeah.
When you can kind of close your eyes and throw your finger down on the sheet and say, hey, let's try this one. If we're wrong, and Connor did that a lot for us at Flower Branch, you can call something if it was bad. If you called the worst passing concept, you call it good. Connor could usually make it right. He was a tremendous player.
He was an eraser.
Yes, he was. There's no doubt about it.
And we need those. So who are some of your favorite guys you've coached with or coached against? I know you've mentioned a lot of guys, but who are some guys that you just enjoyed the camaraderie, the rivalry? You wanted to beat their teeth in when you got out there, but after the game, y'all were going to hug. And, because people don't do that no more. The meeting, these young coaches, they have too many of them that get out there on the 50-yard line and actually talk before the game.
No, you're right. Working with, that's a long list of guys that I've been fortunate to be on staffs that were really always tight. You see some staffs that they just work together. I've been on every staff where we were offense, defense, everybody was just close. And like I said, all those head coaches that I mentioned, how they influenced me so much, from Coach Falleur to Danny to Lee. But then you just take certain things, but then you try to just be yourself. Some coaches that are some of my best friends to this day, me and the head coach at Hart County, Corey Dickerson, one of my best friends in the world, went to Stevens together. We were college roommates together at Presbyterian. We probably taught once or twice a week still. We always go against each other in the summer just because we're in different classes. We've never been able to play. So we spend a lot of time. They come to our paddy camp. We go to FCA team camp together. We scrimmage each other in the spring. But actually, we're going to play. We're going to open up with them if everything stays like with our schedule. We're going to open up. Well, we're going to do that regardless. We're going to play them game one. But he's one that I'm really close. One that I'm really, really close with and competing against him is Corey Mobbs at Jackson County. We met when he was the head coach at Lanier. Just really close with him. I went and watched them play Friday night when they beat Milton. Just he's another one that, man, we're competitive and we talk a lot of junk to each other in the off season. It's pretty funny. I'm not going to talk as much junk, now because they beat us pretty good a few weeks ago. But they got a really good football team. I was really happy for them. But he's one that I'm really close to, in this profession. And you call, and even though we're competitors and we're in the same region and we want to beat each other, he's one that I think we feel really comfortable bumping ideas off each other and, and asking, hey, what would you do in this situation? I know I feel like that about him. And I think he would feel the same about me. I know he's one that I'm really, really close to.
So changing gears a little bit, your first head coaching job at Jackson County, and then you transitioned to Hab Central. What are some things that you did initially that you either kept or you may have changed and said, well, that didn't really work out, but when I go to this new place, we're going to try it this way. How has your approach to implementing your program evolved over the years?
Well, I don't think my philosophy has really ever changed. I've always wanted to 100% make it about the kids. I mean, nobody comes to the games to watch me coach. They come to watch the kids play. So I've always wanted to be player-centered in everything that we do. I think a lot of stuff you by trial and error, you look at some things that maybe or how you reacted. I think that's probably what I've learned. And I'm probably still learning that, 11 years later is taking a pause before something you have to deal with. Like when I was a young head coach, I mean, I'm like a bull in a china shop. If there's any problem, I'm going to fix it and sometimes not fix it in the right way and maybe hurt relationships in the process of that just because, by golly, it's my way and we're going to do it my way. I think that's probably the area I've grown in the most is just everything's not a battle. And before you have a knee-jerk reaction, calm down, breathe. I think that's helped me with parents. We have great parents up here. But, parents love their kids. I think that's the thing that I've had to learn more over the years, too, is nothing's personal unless we allow it to become personal. I think that's probably one area I've grown in as much as anything, is just realizing when you have a parent that is unhappy with you or whatever, it's not personal. It's just they love their kids so much, they're sometimes blinded by their kid. So I've learned, to take a pause on those things and just, before you deal with it, take a deep breath. And then we just try to do stuff every year to make it better. I don't know. You learn things that work. You learn things in the weight room that work, and you learn things that don't work in the weight room. You learn fundraising. Oh, geez, talk about fundraising. That's a blast in high school football. Just things like that, and how to do that better and be more efficient with your time. I think the biggest battle and I'll probably never completely figure it out before I'm retire is learning how to sometimes get it off your mind. But I don't know anybody football coach who's done that yet. Because when I come during the football season, I'm in the zone. My wife always jokes. She'll be telling me stories and I won't be listening because I'll be totally 100% locked in on football. I always wish I could have done a little better than that. I think maybe I've grown in that area a little bit, but you know how it is when you're in the season, man, that is your full attention. And I think that's what people that don't coach don't realize. It's like there's one of me, there's one of us, but then you've got 100 and something kids on your team. And they all have your number, and their parents have your number, and they, I think that's probably the area I've learned is how to put my phone down a little bit more when I get home. Well, if my wife listens to this, she'll say I lied. I probably haven't figured that out. But I don't know. Just you grow. I think maturity is another thing. Things that used to just drive me crazy, and I felt so worried about. I've learned over the years are not that big of a deal. I think that's the area that you just kind of learn as you do it longer. Plus, you understand things better. You don't get panicked as much as maybe you used to, and you realize that if you do make a mistake, shoot, there ain't nothing wrong with that. You can usually fix a lot of them.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. I mean, the older I've gotten, now that I'm of an age where I could be a grandparent, I've turned into that on the staff. I'm the leave him alone. He's just being a boy. He's just let him. Yeah, we need to hammer him a little bit, but he'll be. When I was younger, it was like kill him.
Yeah, no doubt.
Fire him right now. Get rid. I'd take his stuff up right now.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Now I'm like, well, he can push some sleds. He can run a little bit. I mean, he's just being a boy. And I think that's part of being a parent. and
Yeah,
like you said,
absolutely.
maturing. But anyway, back to football. What are some? How's your approach to spring football? How do you approach spring football in the off season?
We finished up last Friday or Friday before we got beat by Statesboro in the first round, and we give them a couple weeks between that and Thanksgiving, kind of just we take up stuff, kind of give them a little break in the weight room, and then come and we'll hit back in it we have about 8 days between Thanksgiving and Christmas break because of testing. We get back in and we kind of try to set the tone then, and then we come back in January. I mean, that to me is where it goes. I mean, I think that's where you build your football program. In the weight room, that's where you teach the discipline, the toughness, the commitment. You find out who the guys you are, the leaders. You find who the guys are that want to. You identify the guys that don't need to be with you. You also identify the guys that are not 100% with you, but you need them, and you force them through the weight room and through other kids to be the guys that you need to be on your team. And then some of that's pretty much from January till we start practice there the 1st of May. I mean, it's a grind. I mean, that's where you get your strength. I mean, that's the most important to me of any of your time as a football program from January to May. That's where you build your football team. Your leaders emerge. Your identity emerges. Maybe not so much schematically. You don't know exactly. I mean, that's the difference. We have things that we like. We have offensive schemes that we like. But in high school, those things have to be tweaked now. You can't be so stuck to one thing because you may not have the players from year to year, or we don't. I mean, we play with our kids, you know what I mean? Some years you're going to have better at this position, others this year. And then we still do spring ball. I still like it. The pain of it is you've got not a pain of it because I'm 100% want our kids to play our sports. I will never talk a kid out of playing multiple sports. I think it's good. They need to let somebody else yell at them besides me for a while. Go play for somebody else. But I think the biggest challenge of spring ball is just other sports are in season. And I've always said, do we do it? Do we not do it? But for me, even if you're missing kids during spring, it's still worth it. And it's so much because I want football to be the last thing you're thinking of before they go to summer. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, once you're in spring ball, summer flies by. You're playing in August, mid-August next year. So we still do spring ball. We do a little spring scrimmage. I don't know if I'm going to do one this year. We do one. I don't like spring scrimmages. I just rather scrimmage ourselves, just because I want to see who we are in the spring and figure that out, not try to get ready for a game. But I still believe in spring practice just because it sets the tone for summer, and you're the ones that talk to them last.
Yeah, I was going to ask how you handled the scrimmage. Did you keep it inter squad and take the 2 in the fall, or did you like playing somebody?
We do. Yeah, we play. The kids like playing somebody. Coaches hate playing somebody.
Right.
Now, that's why it's always been so important to play, I feel like, somebody that you were really, like we've always scrimmaged at Hart County. And we tried to get what we needed out of that spring game.
Right.
Neither one of us were trying to beat the other one. We just wanted to get good work against each other and both teams leaving feeling like they knew where they were. But that's hard for kids. Like I thought we were going to be pretty decent this year, and we ended up being pretty good. We played for the region championship and had a pretty good year, and wish we felt like we had a really good opportunity to keep going for another week or two. But it's funny, we played Hart in spring, and Hart, we didn't play good. I mean, they beat us pretty good in the spring. And, for me as a coach, I was like, we just weren't quite ready for that. I still thought it was good, but it put some panic on our kids for a little bit, for a week or so. Oh, God, maybe we're not very good. Yeah, we are. We just didn't look very good in the scrimmage, but it's a scrimmage game in the spring. And, so I think that's the thing that I dislike about it the most. Or if on the flip side, we've had them where we won big. Oh, we are ready. No, we're not. They just didn't play real well in the scrimmage, so, but I still do like spring practice, but I'm still kind of debating if I'm going to do a spring game or not.
I like what you said there about, you got to go against somebody you trust and somebody you know. I mean, I remember, when I referenced that Cartersville 7-on-7, I mean, back then you could go, hey, Coach Harrison, could y'all run that again?
Yeah.
Could you line up again and motion from doubles to trips, or give us that deep motion? Could you just show us that again real quick? Oh, yeah, Coach, no problem. Now it's we have to win the 7-on-7 tournament. We have to win the spring scrimmage, where I get a heap more out of it when I'm out here playing with younger kids, because my athletes, my starters are probably running track or playing baseball or golf or whatever. And I'm trying to teach kids, and if I can stop it and go, Coach, can you get in that empty set again?
Yeah.
And just stand there so I can talk for a few seconds. And
Yeah.
when you're dealing with, to me, that you get more out of it doing that.
Yeah.
And
There's no
especially in the
doubt about it.
summer. You know, I hate the 7-on-7 culture that's
Oh,
developed because I'm not going to get a ring for us being the best 7-on-7 team. But
no,
what I
I can't
need is
stand
for you to show me your motion and show me that concept again, and get in that quads look so I can get my bunch over here to understand if we see that this is how we're going to line up.
it. Yeah, I'm 100% with you. These 7-on-7 is good if you keep in perspective what it is. We go to a couple just because the kids like going. Like we take them to Georgia and we take them to Tech. They like going to that. I like our kids. They compete, but like I don't care. Like those cats were just in empty on the 1 yard line. Are they really going to do that? And then they throw the ball to where the center was standing, and then our kids are all tore up when they score, and I don't really care. I kind of laugh, but kids are so competitive, and one of the worst things are these travel 7-on-7 teams. I don't know how you feel about them, but those are pretty comical, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and I'm old,
yeah,
but they're comical.
Yeah,
and they create a lot of bad habits that you got to fix when they get back to you.
And street trainers are making a mint off of lying to parents and telling them whatever they need to hear.
I hear that all the time. Hey, Coach, we're going to get our kids some extra training. Okay, well, all right, because they're doing the same thing we do. I just do it for free.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
but if you charge them, I'm gonna start saying. I guess I should have started saying I should have a jar in the weight room and stuff. Look, if you want to pay, you can, and and they may think they get stronger and faster if their parents pay a little bit to do it. But that stuff's comical too. But hey, they're just trying to get the edge, I guess.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, the ultimate doubles smoke routes on both sides and sending the fullback straight down the middle against cover 2. I'm like, yeah, if that happens on a Friday night, I'm firing a lot.
I tried that. I tried that this year. we ran. So I tried the little smash on both sides, and we're gonna slip the running back down the middle. He got out a lot better this summer. He got out of the backfield a lot cleaner than we tried it.
It was worth a shot.
I mean, heck, it worked every time at 7-on-7. I mean, we didn't practice that play for nothing. But but it's I love all that, man. Football, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like I think the thing that when I decide that I'm too old to do this, or it's just time to let somebody else do it, the thing that I will miss the most, hands down. I mean, I will miss the football. There's there's nothing like a Friday night. There's nothing like Friday nights with a crowd, the home team crowd yelling and screaming. But as cool as that is, the thing that you'll miss is this, what we're talking about, the relationships that you develop with coaches over the years and talking to them all the time. And then the players, man, just being in there every day with the players. I think that's that's what I've enjoyed in 25 years of doing this. Man, that's been the best thing. That's been the most fun, the most rewarding. Nothing like when you see a kid that you coached 15 years ago come up to you. He's gotten a little chubby and fat, and he's married, and he's got kids, and he starts talking about football practice like it was yesterday. That's still one of the coolest things there is in this profession, no doubt about it.
Well, as an old head now, what are some things about the game, the high school game, that's changed, whether it's X's and O's or just the way people approach how we pick our people for the playoffs and recruiting and all that stuff? What are some things about the game that's changed since you got into it, that good, bad, or indifferent, you've just noticed, oh my God, this is different than it used to be?
Yeah, I mean, X's and O's have changed a little bit, I guess. But those things kind of go in circles anyway to me. Everybody went away from option to, and then they started going spread. And now people are still going spread, but they're running old school stuff. They're still running power and counter. They're just doing it from the shotgun, but it's still football. I think the biggest thing for me is that frustrates me more than anything is just, I don't like how I think this game is set up now. And too many of the GHSA rules, or whatever rules in general, they worry too much about the 5 or 6 teams, 7 or 8, whatever, that are talking about the state championship every year. And I think too many things are set in place for those instead of just what high school football is about. The Friday nights, the community, kids that grew up together since they were in Pee Wee football, and they grew up together, and now they get to play on Friday nights. And the push for schools to recruit is probably the biggest thing that I despise now. I just don't get that. That's not what high school athletics is about. And then you turn on the TV and watch a high school game, and that's all they want to talk about is the recruiting. Don't get me wrong. I tell our kids all the time, use this game for your advantage, man. If you're blessed with ability, use it to go get an education. I'm 100% for that. But I will say high school football was not created for that. There's so much more to it than that. But you turn on a game on TV, a high school game, and all you hear is them talking about this 3-star, this 5-star, and how many offers he's got. And that's not the majority of kids. That's not the majority of high school kids. That's like 2% of them. So that drives me crazy. And then also when they start kind of celebrating, now this guy last year as a sophomore played for this high school, but now he's moved over to this high school. And then you have these high school coaches are strutting around like they're the gurus when they, you could sometimes switch rosters with them right before the game and probably get the same results just because they put a team together that's an all-star team. Now, is that good enough? That bothers me. Can you tell?
Yeah, it sounds like it's got in your craw a little bit, and I can't say I don't disagree with you. I mean, I agree 1,000%. I mean, we're quick to, it's like I've been tickled to death the last couple of weeks watching the unintended consequences of PSR. Well, as one who's always coached down in the little leagues, in the lower divisions, and had to deal with power rankings years ago as a single A baseball coach,
right?
I'm sitting here looking, all these big schools. Oh, yeah, we need to have the best teams and and I'm like, okay, well, get ready next week when you have to get your schedule together.
Oh, ain't no doubt.
And let me know how that works out for you. Now we're complaining. Now it's a problem. Who in their right mind is going to say, well, Grayson's looking for a week 6. We're not going to get anything out of it other than hospital bills. Yeah. They're not going to pay us to play them, and we're not getting any points if we get drubbed. Yeah, let's play them. We ain't scared. Well, that has nothing to do with fear. It has to do with, and I think it's funny now because they're all, and I'm just picking on that Grayson just because they're Grayson.
Right.
But there's a bunch of them, and I'm like, well, that sounds like y'all are going to have to get together and play each other.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I'm not convinced on this PSR stuff. I don't know. It's been the way we've done it for quite a while has worked pretty well. I don't know. I think it opens up for a lot of I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I'm still understanding the PSR and I got to understand how it works, but I don't know. Man, finishing, whenever you say you're in a region, and most time you would, but there is a situation where you could be the number 2 team in a region and not get in the playoffs.
Yes, that's going to happen.
That's weird to me.
That's going to happen.
And to me, you want to give, like I said, it's not about the top 10% to me, but we focus so much on that top 10% or maybe less.
Couldn't agree.
Man, we need to worry about all the kids. Man, every kid deserves the opportunity if they have a good season to get to go to the postseason, because that to me is what high school sports is about. It's not about, I don't know. I mean, winning the state championship, I've got to play for one of them, and we come up short, and it would have been really cool. But I don't know. I just, again, a lot of teams are not going to get the opportunity to play for state championships every year. So does that mean that their season matters less? I would argue to say no, not at all. Not at all. But, there's several things that, like I said, I look and I'm just like, I think about us growing up in high school and my buddies that played. There is like, okay, I played at Stevens County. Okay. There was not a part of us that would ever think about moving to Hart County or Elbert County or at that time Habersham. You know what I'm saying? These are my guys. These are who I grew up with. This is who I play with. That's who we playing with.
Right.
And now, and you see it. I mean, you see it trickle down. It started, in college, and then the whole idea of NIL. We don't have to deal with that, fortunately, but NIL in high school. Are you kidding me? It's working really well in college. You can tell it's a system that's broken. Yeah. And the idea of that just blows my mind. These are kids.
So with all that being said, I'll get you out on this one. What's some advice you would give to some younger coaches as they advance through this profession? What's a piece of advice you would give them? I understand from just listening what I've picked out is relationships are important, whether it be with the kids or the coaches you come across. But what's some advice you give to a young coach trying to be an old head one day?
That it's not at all. If you ever try to make it about you, you're probably going to be upset a lot. If you're a young guy, man, make it about the people you're around. Hire really good people. You don't have to do it all on your own. I've learned that over the years, man. Don't try to do everything on your own. I'm not a micromanager. Hire good people and let them coach. I think that's one big thing, but always make it about the players. Never make it about you. If you make it about you, I've been forced over the years. I mean, we've all had parents that get on us and get after us, but I hadn't had a whole bunch. And I think because the parents, even if they think I'm an idiot when it comes to coaching, and I'm sure I've had plenty that thought that, they've always knew that I love their kid. Even when they got mad at me and didn't agree with me, they knew I loved their kid. So that's the thing. Oh man, if you ain't really in it for the relationships, go do something else, or go jump in college where it probably isn't got to be as much relationship based anymore. But that would be it. Just man, make it about the players. And if you do that, I think you can enjoy this for a long time, even when you have the years where it's tough.
Well, Coach, you've made it about the players your whole career. You've done great things everywhere you've been, worked with great people, and had such an impact on more people than you know. And I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story.
Well, I appreciate it. And you let me get out of leaf blowing for a while too. So I appreciate you doing that, because I'm way too old to be doing that as well. But I appreciate it, man. Thanks for all you do for promoting high school football, man. It's awesome.
Thanks, Coach. Season 7
I appreciate it. Thank
Son
you.
Coaches Podcast is proudly brought to you by Titan Sensor. Season 7.